Hey guys, we're at Hendon. You can see this is actually done about almost a month ago now, or a few weeks ago. I just didn't get a chance to upload it. But this was a really good test. 7 a.m., fairly quiet on the roads, and the route was actually very good as well. But student made actually one mistake, but they did that mistake twice. And it's the same mistake they did, basically going into a no entry section of the road. Key is keep an eye on road markings. Okay, so if you can look ahead, you've got the double lines and the inverted triangle. Those are the giveaway markings for cars to come out, and we can never go into them. Obviously, students know that, but under pressure, they tend to sometimes just make the error. But when you see the mistake, it's frustrating when you see it. But the place they did it is a bit it's kind of tempting to go into because it's such a long and wide giveaway section that you think that you can go into the second part of it. But I'll show you what that is. I'm not really going to do much of a commentary because I think the route's fairly straightforward. So you guys just have a look at the route. This one takes you up to, they go left at the end, all the way up towards Hendon, and then they go to the inside roads. And then I think about 9.5 minutes into the video, that's when the mistake happens. All right, so I'll resume commentary back then and then kind of guide you through the mistake. Okay, this road is called Bell Lane, and this is where the mistake happens. So as you go further down, this part actually is quite tricky normally. If there's cars coming towards you, it gets very narrow. Um, but as you get a little bit further, the student's going to be asked to turn right. Now that right turn is quite a long giveaway, and that giveaway is also split into two, one for the cars to turn left and one for them to turn right. So you'll see it in a bit, and you see where that white car went. That's where we're meant to go into a little bit further ahead. There's an island in the middle that's also got no entry written. Look at this split sort of double entry here, and the student tries to go into this part of it, and then examiners had to warn them not to. Double lines clearly there, no entry sign there as well on the island, and then this is the section you're meant to go into. Just because it's a little bit longer and there's that little center line in the middle, if you go back you'll see it. That's what puts students off. They think after that center line that they can go into the next section, but if the double line extends, then obviously you can't. Now this road is called Green Lane, and this is where most students actually make the mistake. So they don't usually make the mistake from that particular road. Also, examiners tend not to come down from that direction. They usually are coming up this road, but this time around they've come down. But no excuses. I mean, whenever you see double lines, you cannot go into them. I often tell the students, if a double line extends all the way across the road, that means no entry. Sometimes you don't even need to see the sign for no entry. You just can't go into it. But yeah, this is Green Lane. This is another common error which students make, but this student actually did this perfectly. They'll be asked to turn right. You see the arrows on the ground telling you stay on the left. And then most students tend to go on the wrong side here over that line, but the student stayed correctly where the stop line is, and then they stopped correctly just as the light changed. Keep in mind, if you kind of just rewind it back a little bit, but where the stop line is, it's only halfway on the road. That means you can't stop on the other side, the right hand side. So that's something to keep in mind. The student does this section really, really well. This is where most students do make the error. It's quite a common failing error. Green Lane. It's in that video. I've got tricky junctions, but obviously you don't need to see that if you're seeing this one. And then this is where the second error occurs. Okay, so students going to be coming up a little bit further past where that bus is. There's going to be another right turn, and a little bit of a longer sort of give way again. But again, there are signs on the ground with the double lines, and I believe there's also a no entry sign on the island as well. So something for you guys to keep in mind, road markings and signs. Okay, so this is where the right turn is, and you can see there the double lines on the ground, and you can see on the island just there's a no entry, but the student tries to turn in now, which is really strange. If you look further ahead, that's where the turning is. So now they'll be asked to go a little bit further, and then they're going to be asked to turn from here. So two, when you look at it, really simple errors. And the student has driven amazingly throughout the rest of the video if you watch it. Dealing with meeting situations and pulling up on the left and doing the maneuvers, etc. They do reverse parallel parking later on. Oh, I think they've done that already. I can't remember. But yeah, everything's spot on. So yeah, it's a real shame. Really, really simple errors. You see the cars flashing there. Students just making sure, and then they're going in. And this is the part you're going in. But yeah, apart from that, very, very straightforward. Okay, so hope you guys learn from it. Keep marking the really fresh paint as well. Look, you can see it really, really good, well marked out now. So no excuses. And yeah, hope you guys learn from it. Okay, so we're going kind of back to Bell Lane. This is where the student had made the first error, kind of trying to turn in on the wrong side. But what I want to highlight now is when they're coming out of this road, um, you're going to have two giveaway triangles on the ground. The giveaway marking is quite long and it's split in the middle. And if you're going to turn right, you have to be on the right hand side of it. And if you're going to go left, then you go on the left, and do not go right from a left lane, etc. There's no arrows, but this is the lane for turning right, and the one on the left hand is for turning left. If you accidentally go on the left hand side, just go left. Okay, that student does this perfectly. This is the actual section that student was turning into, so you can see why it's obviously dangerous. But yeah, that was it. Just thought I'd highlight that just so you guys know about that one as well. This road's a one-way road, just in case you guys didn't see the arrows at the beginning. And at the end of a one-way street, if you are asked to turn right, then you should position on the right hand side, okay? Because no car can come in. Um, but I believe the student kind of stays towards this left hand side, but they should be on the right hand side. You see how they're on the left here? That's actually technically wrong. They should be on the right hand side. If there was another vehicle, that vehicle might have overtaken them and gone on the right hand side there. So bear that in mind. Examiner didn't mark it down because I feel it was, there was no one around them. It wasn't a problem. But had another vehicle come, they would have got done from positioning. So yeah, so that's something to keep in mind. Okay, if it is a one-way street and you are turning right, then you actually go all the way to the right hand side. at the end of this road, they're going to join the dual carriageway. And something to keep in mind whenever you're joining a dual carriageway, if you are fairly straight on, then you need to make sure that 2 lanes are clear, because your car will go over that center line, or that first line. So we are kind of almost straight. So we've got a slight angle, but not enough to really sort of squeeze into the lane without affecting the second lane. So you should wait for 2 lanes to be clear, and then that's how you kind of enter these sort of ones. If you have more of an angle or more of a slip road sort of scenario, then you only need 1 lane to be clear, and it's really important. You kind of see the car kind of get really close. Maybe, yeah, we're over that line. You can see. Now it's not a fault going over the line, because there's no other way to really do it. Just got to make sure that the second lane is clear so that you don't affect anyone. You don't have to worry about the third lane as long as they're not coming into the second, but that's something really important. A lot of students sometimes make that error because they mix up the two. They think that, oh, if first lane is clear, then they can go, but it all depends on how much angle and how much space you have to enter it without affecting the second lane.